Hey, welcome back. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is Flashpoints, the wars that shaped us. You know, living in New York, you get used to seeing people juggle multiple identities. The barista who's a poet, the accountant who's a punk rock drummer. But the story I want to tell you today takes that idea to an almost unimaginable extreme. It's about a woman who, in the quiet English countryside during the Second World War, managed to be a devoted mother, a perfect neighbor, a charming housewife, and one of the most dangerous Soviet spies of the 20th century. This is Episode 4, Agent Sonya, the housewife spy who hoodwinked the British. Imagine the scene. It's 1945, in the idyllic village of Great Rollright, Oxfordshire. Picture a thatched cottage with a lovely garden. The woman who lives there is Ursula Burton. To her neighbors, she's a slightly exotic but utterly respectable wife of an Englishman, a woman who bakes, tends to her children, and chats over the fence. What they don't see is that in the dead of night, in her children's nursery, she is hunched over a radio transmitter, her fingers flying as she sends top-secret intelligence directly to Moscow. Her codename? Sonya. And the secrets she was sending weren't just any secrets. They were the blueprints for the atomic bomb. Ursula's story begins far from England. She was born Ursula Kaczynski in Berlin to a wealthy Jewish family. She was a bookseller, a dreamer, who fell in love with a communist architect and, through him, with the ideology itself. As the Nazis rose to power, her commitment turned into action. The Soviet intelligence service, the GRU, recruited her. They saw something in her, a cool head, a sharp mind, and a remarkable ability to adapt. She was trained in spycraft in Moscow, and then her real life began. She operated in Shanghai, where she had an affair with and was trained by the legendary spy Richard Sorge. She worked in Manchuria, in Poland, in Switzerland. She survived close calls, Gestapo interrogations, and the brutal purges within her own ranks. And through it all, she did something almost no other spy of her caliber did. She kept her children with her. That's the first thing that just staggers me about her story. The duality wasn't just professional. It was profoundly human. In Switzerland, while running a spy ring that penetrated German industrial secrets, she was also giving birth, breastfeeding, and reading bedtime stories. Her cover was her life. Her authenticity as a mother was part of what made her so invisible. Who would suspect a woman with a baby carriage of being a master spy? Which brings us to her greatest act, England. In 1941, with a new English husband as her cover, she arrived in the UK. Her mission was to build a new network and await further instructions. She settled into that cottage in Oxfordshire, becoming a pillar of the local community. She joined the Women's Voluntary Service. She was, by all accounts, lovely. And all the while, in a hidden compartment under the stairs, she kept her radio transmitter, her cipher pads, and a loaded pistol. Then, in 1945, her new control officer arrived. His name was Klaus Fuchs, a brilliant, quiet physicist who was working on the top-secret Manhattan project at the nearby atomic research facility at Harwell. Fuchs was passing detailed information about the bomb to the Soviets, but he needed a professional courier, a radio operator to get it to Moscow. That was Sonya. So, in that nursery, with her children sleeping just feet away, she encoded and transmitted the very secrets that would break the American nuclear monopoly and ignite the Cold War arms race. The sheer historical weight of those moments is breathtaking. The future of the world was being shaped not in a bunker or a cabinet room, but in a cozy, child's room smelling of talcum powder and milk. And here's the thing, she was never caught. Not by the British. MI5 had no idea. After the war, when the net began to close, thanks to defectors and broken codes, the Soviets exfiltrated her. In 1950, she simply vanished from Oxfordshire, leaving her neighbors baffled and the intelligence services red-faced. She reappeared in East Germany, where she lived quietly, writing children's books, until her death in 2000. So what do we make of Agent Sonya? As an engineer, I'm fascinated by systems, by efficiency. Her spycraft was a masterpiece of operational efficiency. She used the ultimate human algorithm, predictability. She made herself so predictably ordinary, so reliably domestic, that she became a ghost in plain sight. The British were looking for spies in dark coats lurking in alleyways. They weren't looking at the mother of three planting marigolds. But as a storyteller, And as someone who's built a life across cultures myself, I'm drawn to the deeper identity. Ursula Burton, the housewife, and Sonya, the spy. Which one was real? I think they both were. She wasn't just pretending to be a mother. She was a fiercely devoted mother. She wasn't just pretending to believe in communism. She was a true believer, convinced her work was creating a better world, even as she handed Stalin the bomb. That's the uncomfortable, fascinating heart of her story. She contained multitudes, and her power came from that genuine complexity. She wasn't a hollow mask, but a full person whose convictions allowed her to live a life of staggering contradiction without, it seems, ever losing her nerve. Her story is a flashpoint because it changes how we see the Cold War. It wasn't just a clash of tanks and ideologies between men and rooms. It was also fought in suburban lanes and kitchen gardens by people whose stories we'd never think to tell. It reminds us that history isn't just about the grand speeches and the battlefields. It's about the unassuming woman next door who might just be quietly, competently, changing the course of the world. Agent Sonya's legacy is a paradox. The most dangerous things are often the ones we are programmed to see as safe. And sometimes, the most powerful weapon a spy can have isn't a pistol or a cipher, but a perfectly baked loaf of bread and a friendly wave for the neighbors. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story of hidden histories, please do share this episode with someone who'd love it. For more deep dives into the wars that shaped us, make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. This is Ibnul J. Farabi, and this has been Flashpoints, a production of Light Knot Studios. Visit us at lightknotstudios.com. Until next time.